defenders.
We are defenders of Zion.
We are the defenders.
We are, yeah.
We are the defenders.
We are defenders of Zion.
We are the defenders.
We are defenders of Zion.
This class right here is for unbelief. This class right here is for you and me. This class right here means everything. Everything that an Israelite needs to be. This class right here is for unbelief. This class right here is for you and me. This class right here means everything. Everything that an Israelite needs to be.
No one told us life could get this hard. Everybody failed except the Lord. When I feel like I ain't coming through, I see these issues don't apply to you. Had to change my path, change my ways. All of this heart attack don't last always. The most I make us kings to serve as slaves. I'ma be an Israelite to the grave.
We are the defenders.
We are defenders of Zion.
We are the defenders.
We are, yeah.
We are the defenders.
We are defenders of Zion.
We are the defenders.
We are defenders of Zion.
All right, shalom, Most High in Christ bless to everybody that's tuning in. Tonight's topic is finding Christ. All right, we're gonna bring out a few things about what we have to understand about how to find Christ and what does that really mean, and what do we have to be aware of. All right. Let's open up with the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29. Jeremiah chapter 29, and let's read verse 11.
Shalom, fam. Happy Sabbath to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, and verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
For I know the thoughts that I think toward you.
I know the thoughts that I think toward you. Come on.
Saith the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts of peace and not of evil,
Mm-hmm.
to give you an expected end.
Mm-hmm.
Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you.
Mm-hmm.
And ye shall seek me, and find me, when ye shall search for me with all your heart.
When ye will search for me with all your heart. So in order for us to find Christ, we have to search with our whole heart. The Bible, when it talks about your heart, it means your mind, because the only thing that the heart does is pump blood, right? So in order for us to find him, we have to seek him. Let's go to Sirach, Ecclesiasticus chapter 6. And let's start to get an understanding of how do we seek him. Sirach chapter 6 and verse 16.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
A faithful friend
A faithful friend, come on,
is the medicine of life.
is the medicine of life. Remember the scriptures say it was neither herb nor mollifying plaster that brought them to health, but thy word which healeth all things. So this faithful friend right here, this faithful friend is Christ. Read that from the top.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 6 and verse 16.
Uh-huh.
A faithful friend is the medicine of life,
Uh-huh.
and they that fear the Lord shall find him.
And they that fear the Lord shall find him. In order for us to find him, we have to fear him. But the Bible is calling them our friend. So why would we have to fear our friend? Let's go to John. Let's go to St. John chapter 15. John chapter 15. And verse 14.
The book of John, chapter 15, and verse 14. Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you.
Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. So we are the Lord's friends if we keep his commandments. So you fear the Lord, you find him. AKA, you keep his commandments. See, the thing about Christianity, this Bible has nothing to do with Christianity. But see, Christianity is the biggest cult in the world. And they have an ideology and a doctrine that is not in the scriptures. So they'll just throw certain words out there, not understanding that they have a meaning to it. When the Bible is talking about fearing the Lord, that means you have a duty to follow. If you're the Lord's friend, that means that you have a duty to follow. In order for you to be the Lord's friend, you have to prove yourself. In order for you to be the Lord's friend, you have to prove yourself. Let's go to Songs of Solomon. Songs of Solomon. We're going to bring out some things today. Because, a lot of our people don't really be studying. So you start dipping in Songs of Solomon and, Ezekiel and Revelation, and our people is lost. Songs of Solomon, chapter 3, and let's read verse 1. Keep along with this, because there's a meaning. It's a similitude behind this. All right, come on.
The book of Song of Solomon, chapter 3, and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
By night on my bed I sought him, whom my soul loveth. I sought him, but I found him not.
It say, by night on my bed. By night on my bed, right? Real quick, let's go to Psalms. Hold this, we coming right back. Let's go to Psalms chapter 30. Psalms chapter 30, and let's read verse 5.
The book of Psalms, chapter 30, and verse 5. For his anger endureth but a moment.
Mm-hmm.
In his favor is life. Weeping may endure for a night.
Weeping what?
Weeping may endure for a night.
Weeping may endure for a night. Come on.
But joy cometh in the morning.
But joy cometh in the morning. Let's go back to Songs Songs of Solomon, my bad. Got a brain. Songs of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 1.
The book of Song of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 1. By night on my bed
by night on my bed. Come on.
I sought him.
I sought him. Who is that him? Christ. Come on.
Whom my soul loveth.
I
sought him, but I found him not.
I sought him, but I found him not. All right, let's go to Proverbs chapter 8. Proverbs chapter 8. And let's read verse 17.
The book of Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 17. I love them that love me.
I love them that love me. Come on.
And those that seek me early shall find me.
Those that seek me early shall find me. Not in the night. but in the morning. When it's talking about seeking him early, it's talking about you not making this your second or third priority. Seeking him early means that this is your first priority. This is your first love. Let's go back to Songs of Solomon chapter 3 and verse 1.
The book of Song of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
By night on my bed I sought him, whom my soul loveth. I sought him, but I found him not.
I found him not. We can't seek the Lord the way we want to seek the Lord. We can't find the Lord the way we want to find the Lord. But we are his friends if we do what he commands us to do. Let's read verse 2.
I will rise now and go about the city in the streets and in the broad ways. I will seek him whom my soul loveth. I sought him, but I found him not.
But I found him not. Let's go to Matthew chapter 22. Right? So we reading this, and he's saying that he's not finding him. I sought him, I found him not. But notice that verse 1 said, by night on my bed. We can't do this the way we want to do it. Right? That's what that means. Matthew chapter 22 and verse 8.
The book of Matthew, chapter 22 and verse 8. Then saith he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not ready, worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Go ye therefore into the highways.
Into the where?
Into the highways,
Uh-huh.
and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage.
So go out to the streets, go out into the broad ways. Come on.
So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good.
Mm-hmm.
And the wedding was furnished with guests.
So it say they gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good. Let's go back to Songs of Solomon, chapter 3. And let's read verse 2 again.
The book of Song of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 2. I will rise now and go about the city in the streets.
In the streets. Come on.
And in the broad ways. I will seek him whom my soul loveth.
And in the broad ways I will seek him whom my soul loveth. When you see that broad ways right there, what do you think that's talking about? Go on.
I sought him, but I found him not.
I found him not. Going the broad way. Come on.
The watchmen that go about the city found me.
The watchmen that go about the city found me. A watchman is supposed to warn the people. A watchman are the prophets. The watchmen are the servants of the Lord that are out in the highways and byways where our people are. Make no mistake about it, when we say our people, we're talking about you so-called blacks and you so-called Hispanics whose fathers are of Negroid and Indian descent. You are the biblical Israelites, all right? And we have a duty to follow. We have to keep God's commandments in the faith in Christ. All right, read verse 3 from the top.
The book of Song of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 3. The watchmen that go about the city found me, to whom I said, saw ye him whom my soul loveth?
Saw ye him whom my soul loveth? Come on.
It was but a little that I passed from them,
Uh-huh.
but I found him whom my soul loveth.
But I found him whom my soul loveth. This whole thing, this whole message right here that you should be getting is we can't do this our way. Christ is the way. Come on.
It was but a little that I passed from them, but I found him whom my soul loveth.
Mm-hmm.
I held him and would not let him go until I had brought him into my mother's house.
Until I had brought him into my mother's house. Hold this real quick. Galatians chapter 4. And verse 26.
The book of Galatians, chapter 4, and verse 26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all.
Which is the mother of us all. It's talking about Jerusalem. All right, let's go back to Songs of Solomon 3 and verse 4.
The book of Song of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 4. It was but a little that I passed from them, but I found him, whom my soul loveth. I held him, and would not let him go until I had brought him into my mother's house, and into the chamber of her that conceived me.
Another word for Christ is wisdom. All right. Solomon was given this great wisdom, but when you receive wisdom, you're supposed to feed the people with that wisdom that the Lord has given you. That's why I'm saying that he had to be brought to his mother's house. Right? Let's read verse 5.
Verse 5. I charge you, O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
I charge you, O ye daughters of Jerusalem. Come on.
By the roes and by the hinds of the field, that ye stir not up, nor awake my love till he please.
I charge you, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, by the roes and by the hinds of the field. Let's go to Habakkuk. Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 3. Habakkuk chapter 3, and let's read verse 19. Habakkuk chapter 3 and verse 19.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 3 and verse 19. The Lord God is my strength, and he will make my feet like hinds' feet, and he will make me to walk upon mine high places, to the chief singer on my stringed instruments.
It says, and he will make me to walk upon mine high places. So when it's talking about these hinds' feet, let's go back to Songs of Solomon chapter 3 and verse 5.
The book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 5. I charge you, O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
I charge you, O ye daughters of Jerusalem. Listen up. Come on.
By the roes and by the hinds of the field.
By the roes and the hinds of the field, it's talking about our leaders with this wisdom. Come on.
That ye stir not up, nor awake my love till he please.
Till he please. That ye stir not up, nor awake my love till he please. At the end of the day, we have to wait on Christ. We have to wait on Christ, man. A lot of people don't understand what that means, to wait on Christ. Let's go to Psalms 145. Psalms 145 and verse 15.
The book of Psalms, chapter 145 and verse 15. The eyes of all wait upon thee, and thou givest them their meat in due season.
The eyes of all wait upon thee, and thou givest them their meat in due season. The people that understand what it means to wait on the Lord are the people that understand patience. They understand that the Lord is in control of all things. Right? Leaders wait upon the Lord. That's what having wisdom is all about. Right? Jump to chapter 123. And let's read verse 2.
The book of Psalms, chapter 123, and verse 2.
Read verse 1.
Verse 1. Unto thee lift I up mine eyes, O thou that dwellest in the heavens. Behold, as the eyes of servants look unto the hand of their masters, and as the eyes of a maiden unto the hand of her mistress, so our eyes wait upon the Lord our God, until that he have mercy upon us.
Until that he have mercy upon us. So when you understand patience, you understand that you have to seek the Lord by keeping his commandments, and you hold on to what you have until he come. We cannot be people in this truth that is tossed to and fro, man. But you have to have stability and stand still. This whole thing, we hear these scriptures, but when is we gonna take the time to do what the Bible say? Apply these mysteries and parables to your life. Right? Let's go to Amos chapter 5. Amos chapter 5 and verse 18.
The book of Amos, chapter 5 and verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord.
Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. This is you not saying Lord's will. This is you boasting in the fact that you already got the kingdom. But you have to understand, we have to be humble. We have to be humble, and we have to wait on the Lord. Read that from the top.
Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light.
The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. Real quick, hold this. Let's go to Lamentations. Lamentations chapter 3. Right. Lamentations chapter 3. And let's read verse 26.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 3 and verse 26. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord.
It is good that you hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord. That's showing that you humble. But you're not boasting in you already getting salvation. That's when the scriptures say, woe unto you that desire that day. Right, come on.
Verse 27. It is good for a man that he bear the yoke.
It's good for a man that he bear the yoke. Mean, listen, come on.
In his youth.
In his youth. Come on.
He sitteth alone and keepeth silence, because he hath borne it upon him. He putteth his mouth in the dust. If so be there may be hope.
It say he putteth his mouth in the dust. If so be there may be hope. That means that he's humbled himself. He's put his mouth in the dust. We come from the dust of the ground and we shall return. That should humble you. All right, let's go back to Amos chapter 5 and verse 18.
The book of Amos, chapter 5 and verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord.
So you have two aspects. The first one is looking at what it means to truly find Christ, all right? Meaning to humble yourself and keep his commandments. But then on the other hand, if you don't find Christ, Christ's going to find you. And you don't want that. You don't want that. Read verse 19.
Verse 19. And is as if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light? Even very dark and no brightness in it.
Even very dark, man, and no brightness in it. So we have to understand that we have to find Christ, and we have to seek him, because there is a judgment day. A lot of people don't understand this, but when the Lord returns, nobody's going to be dead. Everybody's going to behold him. The dead is going to rise, and the people that are here on the earth are going to be stuck. It says, if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, you're not going to be able to run. You're not going to be able to hide. The Lord is going to find you. Right? Let's go to Revelation chapter 9 and verse 6. So give a quick understanding of this real quick. Revelation 9 and 6.
The book of Revelation, chapter 9 and verse 6. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them.
It say, in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, man. You gotta understand that every eye is gonna see the Lord. Let's go to chapter 1. Revelation chapter 1, verse 7.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him.
Every eye shall see him. Come on.
And they also which pierced him. And all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen.
So when the Lord returns, everybody's going to see him. Everybody. So you have to understand that the Lord is going to return. And there's an order to this. All right. The more you study and the more you read the scriptures, you start to realize what is the order of these events that's going to be a lot of things that's going to happen when the Lord returns. And it's all in this book. It's all prophesied, right? Let's jump to Revelation chapter 7, and let's read verse 1.
The book of Revelation, chapter 7 and verse 1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth.
Holding the 4 winds of the earth. These angels are holding back this war. They're holding back these things from happening. Come on.
That the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads.
So what the scriptures is showing us is that these things and this great war and death is coming after the Lord's elect is saved, then all hell is going to break loose. But these things are being held back until the elect are sealed. All right, let's go to Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1.
The book of Daniel, chapter 12 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time shall Michael stand up.
At that time shall Michael stand up. This is talking about Christ. Come on.
The great prince which standeth for the children of thy people.
When you read Isaiah 9, you see that Christ is that prince that's standing for the children of Israel. The government is on him. He is the prince. Read.
And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
So keep in mind, when the Lord returns, things are going to stand still. All right. The scriptures show you that when the Lord returns, the foundations of the earth and everything else is going to tremble. You're not going to be able to be on your Wi-Fi or have phone service when the Lord returns. Everything is being shut down, man, when the Lord returns. So it's talking about this time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. Is this going to happen before we are saved or after we are saved? That's the question, right? Let's go to Revelation chapter 11. We're going to see if we're going to be in this great trouble and tribulation, because a lot of people, oh man, they don't understand the difference from the things that are spiritual and literal. We have to be able to discern. Revelation 11 and 8.
The book of Revelations, chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
Their dead bodies, these are spiritual dead bodies, right? This city is Babylon. Come on.
Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified.
Where also our Lord was crucified, meaning that the Lord has been put to shame here. All right. Every time you see a movie about Christ, they lying in it, and it's got white Jesus. Okay, you crucifying the Lord. You lying on him. Come on.
And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and an half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves.
So you have to understand, you have certain time periods throughout the scriptures. Some things, well, a lot of these time periods are what you would call a dispensation of time, meaning that it's a spiritual thing. It's not a literal time period. Come on.
And they that dwelt upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth.
So, in this case, when you're looking at these 350 years, it is a similitude there. But you have to understand right here that the nations, they hate us because they know we God chosen people. Come on.
And after 3 days and an half, the spirit of life from God entered into them. And they stood upon their feet.
So this is talking about the Israelites after the hardcore portion of bondage. The Israelites have now stood upon their feet, meaning that we are waking up and we are realizing that we have to keep God's commandments and we have to seek him. Come on.
And great fear fell upon them which saw them. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither.
They heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. This is salvation. Come up hither, meaning that they've been caught up into the chariots of the Lord. Come on.
And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them.
And their enemies beheld them. Every eye is going to see this. Say the enemies beheld them. Come on.
And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted, and gave glory to the God of heaven.
It say the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the God of heaven. This means that this great tribulation that we reading about in Daniel chapter 12 is going to hit after we've received salvation. All right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 63. Isaiah chapter 63. And let's read verse 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 63 and verse 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom?
Who is this that cometh from Edom? Come on.
With dyed garments from Bozrah.
With dyed garments from Bozrah. Still talking about Edom, right? That's going to be on the test. Read.
This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel?
Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel? So this is talking about Christ. And it say that his garments is basically just going to be completely covered and drenched in the blood of the Edomites, which we know of as the so-called white man. See, a lot of people don't read this stuff because their pastor told them, only the New Testament is relevant. But Christ comes in the volume of the book, man. Read.
And thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. I have trodden the winepress alone.
I have trodden the winepress alone. What does that mean? That means that the Lord is going to return. The Israelites are going to be saved. And the Lord coming back to kill. The Lord is coming back to put people to death, man. A lot of people don't understand the power that's coming here. Let's go to Second Esdras. Second Esdras chapter 13, and let's read verse 1.
The book of Second Esdras, chapter 13, and verse 1. And it came to pass, after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea.
There arose a wind from the sea. This wind right here is Christ. Come on.
That it moved all the waves thereof.
That it moved all the waves thereof. When it's talking about the sea right here, it's talking about Christ coming from what we know of as space. And it say that it moved all the waves thereof. Satellites is falling. Everything is being shut down. The foundation of the earth is being shook up. Come on.
And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him.
All the things trembled that were seen under him, man. So you got to understand, either you going to find Christ or Christ is going to find you, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 39.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 39. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me.
Mm-hmm.
I kill and I make alive.
They say there's no God with me. A lot of people, Old Testament only will pull this, to talk about or to say there's no Christ. But if only you had the understanding, you would realize that this is Christ. Come on.
I wound and I heal.
Uh-huh.
Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand.
Uh-huh.
For I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever.
Mm-hmm.
If I whet my glittering sword and mine hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to mine enemies, and will reward them that hate me.
The Lord say that it's him that our people hate. This is Christ speaking right here, man. We have to find him. Or else he gonna find you, man. The book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 29.
The book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men.
We ought to obey God rather than men every single day, man. And with that, we say, Shalom.